What's a conspiracy with the most evidence to back it up? That these weird low-quality not safe for work games that pop out in the Steam popular list until you turn not safe for work content off are money laundering targets to cash and Steam gift cards obtained via various phone scams. Steam gets their 30 of the stolen money, so they don't mind, and ultimately it is super difficult to prove that real people do not buy the games since nobody would ever admit to buying them. The British government deliberately put the RMS Lusitania in harm's way to get her sunk to bring the USA into WW1. The fact the records have been resealed for another 100 years adds credence to this conspiracy. A hamster playing bingo determines the rotation of the approximately 30 questions on that Askreddit. U.S. government involvement in the trafficking of cocaine. Modern art is just money laundering. Nobody pays $2.2 million for a blank canvas. I feel like Luigi probably is in Super Mario 64. We just stopped looking a little too soon. There is something fishy going on at Mattress Firm. How can they stay in business with a store in practically every plaza when the average person buys a new mattress every decade or so? The meta-conspiracy to convince dumb people that the word conspiracy means a crazy person's imagination. Conspiracies happen every day. There's a global conspiracy of adults to convince kids Santa is real. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a conspiracy. Somewhere along the line, the word got hijacked and it immediately discredits whoever says it. It's practically a trap to use the word, so you have to dance around it if you want to describe people planning things in secret. Iran-Contra comes to mind. Arms for hostages. Also, yes, the CIA really did sell crack cocaine to fund death squads in South America. And finally, Nixon started the drug war to attack his political enemies. The government deliberately leaked false information to UFO investigators to discredit them because they were getting too close to the truth. The truth being that Area 51 was a testing grounds for spy planes and stealth aircraft and was attracting too much attention for a secret weapons facility. The theory that Bobby Kennedy was killed by the mafia might not be a conspiracy theory per se, but I believe that the government works hard to cover up their own incompetence. Part of that is manufacturing insane conspiracy theories as a way to make anyone who asks questions look crazy. Jar Jar Binks is the ultimate Sith Lord. A small group of people dominate the mainstream media to shape public opinion. Iran-Contra. Probably. The sheer intricacy of that proven conspiracy kept most from understanding it, even with the mountain of evidence. MKUltra. FBI's COINTELPRO. CIA feeding crack into American urban centers to suppress a specific part of the population. The corporate conspiracy to push opioids on the U.S. population. My personal favorite is that O.J. Simpson was covering for his son. It explains a lot of the weird shit in that case, like the undersized glove and why they were driving at low speeds during the chase. Benetton is a front for Italian mob money laundering. Probably wasn't at first back in the 80s, but sized stores in expensive real estate all over Europe. Never anyone in the stores. Never seen anyone wearing the clothes. Don't know anyone that's bought anything from them. Ever. And neither do those people. The switch in the U.S. from employer-sponsored pensions to self-directed 401 kiloseconds was done deliberately, so that the average Joe would have a stake in the economy at large and be more likely to vote for business-friendly policies. BlackRock and Vanguard are buying up all the residential property they can in order to get the majority of Americans renting from them. Estimates say by 2030 they will own 60% of residential property. ITT people confusing conspiracy with conspiracy theory. Conspiracies are well documented and accepted as true. Conspiracy theories could be born out of someone's ass and mean nothing at all. The Putin critics who recently died after accidentally falling out of the window did not die by accident. The 2017 Las Vegas shooting being a failed assassination attempt on a Saudi prince. Saudi prince with diplomatic immunity booked the entire top floor. No motive. A single man managed to remove 800-pound hurricane-resistant windows without anyone noticing. The sounds from videos taken exactly match the firing of M240 machine gun fire. And said Saudi prince executes the arrests and executions of dozens officials, military personnel, and business officials as the first thing he does when he returns that are a blow to U.S. influence in the area. Something fishy happened and we're not getting the full story. The FBI killed Martin Luther King Jr. Chuck E. Cheese is a money laundering front for the Italian mob. Dolly Parton's arms are covered in tattoos. The United States harboring and keeping silent evidence regarding targeted killing within the United States. The dismantling of the welfare state. The concentration of wealth for the upper class of the oligarchy. The petroleum companies knew burning fossil fuels would lead to global climate change but hid the evidence of their own funded studies and did nothing to curb consumption. Instead funded groups opposed to renewable, non-greenhouse gas generating energy to maximize shareholder value. Epstein did not kill himself. The fact that the government claims that regulatory capture doesn't happen but that FDA heads who go to work immediately for pharma companies is just happenstance. I won't even go into how much pharma companies fund the FDA's budget. That U.S. Republicans coordinated with Iran to have the 1979 hostages held until after the 1980 election to politically damage Carter's re-election chances. One operative basically admitted it not that long ago. Those Stop Oil activists who were throwing soup at paintings were paid by oil companies to make the public hate actual legit protesters of oil. The stock market is rigged and there's a revolving door between them and the ones regulating them. Some $200 trillion worth of derivatives based on 50 or 101 leverage from the largest firms on the planet. All just funny money. None of it is real tears of joy. JFK's campaign was supported by the mafia who wanted back their Cuban playground because he promised to get rid of Castro and was killed by the mafia for his fuck up in the Bay of Pigs invasion and then the missile crisis. Shorts never closed for GameStop stocks. The government using LSD on citizens in an attempt to mind control them. Halliburton Cheney Iraq. Antarctica has some sketchy shit hidden. And the no-fly zone's travel restrictions are there to stop the public from finding out whatever is actually there. JFK assassination. There are things flying in our airspace that we can't explain. I think it's more the elite buries stories about the elite since they own the media corporations. The CIA helped the Liberian warlord Charles Taylor break out of prison and backed him in starting the First Liberian Civil War, which eventually overthrew the previous government. I mean, how was he able to break out of a maximum security prison in America, flee to Libya for military training, and then sneak back into Liberia and take over the majority of the country within a year while going fully unnoticed? He definitely didn't do it without any help. I believe that Sarah Palin's youngest child is actually her grandchild, born out of wedlock. Sports being rigged. Watergate. Porsche did 911.